I want you guys to think, while they're doing that, I want you to think about what's the purpose of salsa groups? Why do I teach you salsa groups? Why do we do salsa groups? And we're going to have a little discussion why those three are working. Jaylene, talk to us. Salsa groups are important because
it helps us know our strengths and our weaknesses on what we need to practice more.
Good. Everardo?
It helps us in two things.
In two things?
Yeah. It helps you. We help you by being not honest. What do we need help in?
Okay.
And another thing that helps us is how much do we understand the lesson that you were showing us. If we need more practice on that lesson or something.
That's exactly correct. That's 100% true. I'm going to have these three students now talk about their problems. Talk about the math problem that you put up on the board, please. And Frankie's going to unpack his thinking. He's going to use this sentence frame to do that because it's a little easier that way. Right? Step 1, step 2. You can kind of talk that and hold that in your hand there. And then we're going to use our discourse sentence frames to paraphrase and agree, disagree. Okay? I will be rolling the dice for paraphrase. So everybody needs to be prepared to paraphrase. And then I'll be calling a volunteer for agreeing and disagreeing. Floor's all yours, Mr. Cabrillo.
Right. The first thing I did is wrote the problem down. Then I knew I had to do cross products, for another word, butterfly wings. Then I had to rewrite the cross products as an algebraic equation. Then I had to multiply this, and I get 4p. I checked my work. I came over here, and I circled my answer and I plugged it in. Then I checked it and I got it right.
32.
If I understand you correctly, first you found cross products, then you rewrite the cross products as an algebraic equation, then you multiplied it, and you isolate the variable using the inverse operation, then you divide it, and then you check yourself before you circle your answer.
All right, agree or disagree? We'll do this one quickly. Walker, tell me whether you agree or disagree. And remember, it's not Frankie's, it's the work, right?
I agree with the work because you do have to divide 4 into 35 and you will get 8.75. And like you said, for the steps, you have to check because you don't circle the answer before. You always have to check yourself because he checked himself and he was right, and then he circled his answer by checking himself. He plugged it in, and P was 8.75, and he multiplied it by 4, and he got the same answer as he divided 4 into.
Can you do me a favor, Walker? What is the real name? You keep saying the nickname for 8.75, but what's the real name of 8.75?
8 and 75 hundredths.
Oh, excellent. You started saying tenths, and then you fixed that self. That was awesome. Thank you very much for that. Okay. What were we actually learning today? I want you to talk in your group. How do you know you learned today? And how did you show that you learned today? Talk about that in your group. I'll roll the dice. I want to know, how do you know you learned today's lesson? And how did you show that you learned today's lesson? 62, Samuel? I want to know, how did you learn, or how do you know you learned, and how did you show it? Go ahead.
Well, somebody said that they learned that you have to check yourself before circling the answer, and if you check yourself in the column, you have to go back and do it again.
Okay, so that checking yourself is definitely a very big part of learning it. And then how did you show you learned it? By checking yourself? Is that what you're talking about? Okay, good. Go ahead.
I knew I learned the learning objective today and yesterday is because like all I did is just like miss one number and then I got a whole different answer, and so I learned that if you have to check yourself really closely and make sure you did everything right, and how I showed that I learned it is that I double checked my work.
So not only are you telling people you got to check yourself, you're actually showing them, look, I checked myself. And you did make an error that you caught when you double checked yourself, right? That's very nice. It's easy in algebra when we can go back and double check ourselves. We use this in real life. How? Michael?
How much candy you can share with your friends?
How much candy you can share with your friends. I want you to grade yourself. You're going to rate your own learning. Okay? A 1 meaning low, 2 meaning in the middle, 3 meaning better than average, 4 meaning absolutely amazing. Okay? The first part is, how well do I think I learned the lesson? The second part is, how well did I show what I learned? Where it says my teacher wanted me to learn, I do not want you to write the entire lesson objective, but I do want you to write this in your own words. What were we supposed to learn today? Okay? That's what were we supposed to learn today? And I showed I learned it by what? What did you do to show me that you learned our objective today? We will collect all of these, this paper and your salsa group paper.